everybody. Welcome to episode 33 of Around the Verse. I'm Sandy Gardner.
And I'm Ben Lesnick.
The Orion is now available.
Yes, which got a very positive reception. Our big mining ship, designed by fantastic George Hull, really gets across that kind of an alien vibe with a big industrial refinery ship.
And the mini game that Turbulent have been working on goes live today.
Yes, had some issues with our mini game. We wanted to get out last week, but we'd rather ship a working mini game than a broken one. So check it out later today and enjoy. You can earn a badge, and there may be some other surprises in there for you to discover.
And we'll have additional Orion art tomorrow. Is that part of the secret surprise?
Nope, that is a separate secret surprise. That is a no longer secret surprise. Can,
Not now that I mentioned it.
Nope, check out the site tomorrow. Some of the feedback we had from the Orion immediately was about the placement of the cockpit. So our concept artist actually saw that and said, hey, let me play with this a little bit. He's going to have some new art for us to check out tomorrow. So community and devs and outside contractors working together to create a better ship.
Cool. So get your Orion by Monday. Did you get one?
I have not gotten one. Don't think I can convince my wife that I need to spend that much on the Star Citizen ship again.
Yeah, I haven't gotten one either. It's huge.
It's huge. It'd probably be a pain to fly for somebody who's used to little racing ships, but
I
it should be a lot of fun.
still haven't been you yet at the racing ships.
We'll get there.
Yeah, I know.
A couple more lessons.
I know. I didn't get into yesterday's or Monday's playtest. So.
I couldn't either, which I guess is the next thing we should talk about.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone, who once again helped us stress test the server. We heard from a number of people who were able to play with some of our QA guys and the folks in Austin. We were not able to get in. We know other people weren't. That's frustrating, but it really does help us figure out what's wrong with matchmaking. So we are getting there. We'll do another one of these in the near future. We're going to let QA decide when's a good time. So we will update you.
We actually had quite a lot more people on the second playtest, which was a good thing for stress testing. A deep dive about mining is also up.
Yep, that was put together by Tony Zurovec in Austin. He's kind of our lead for the whole Persistent Universe push. You have to check it out. It goes into an incredible amount of detail about how we're doing mining differently. We try to approach all of our systems in Star Citizen with how can we do this differently than the standard. So you're not just going to fly up to an asteroid and wait for a status bar to let you know there's minerals for you. There's a whole immersive gameplay there. Check it out.
The weekend was quite the weekend because we also had Jump Point launch for subscribers.
It was a late night for some folks here in the office, but we're really proud of the amount of content we put out. Yes, Jump Point's available. If you're a development subscriber, this is a good issue. It's about the ArcCorp planet. I wrote some of the fiction for that. It turned out pretty well, I think. Pick it up if you're a subscriber. If not, consider subscribing because it makes stuff like this possible.
PAX East and South by Southwest tickets are still available. Currently, the hashtag Help the Herald campaign is halfway to its mark, and it's released a 50% decrypted photo.
Well, I'm not going to lie. I know what the decrypted photo is, and it's one you're going to want to see. So keep hashtagging.
Keep decrypting.
And as Chris mentioned in his letter, PAX East will be your first chance to get your actual hands-on experience with the first-person shooter module. We're going to have demo stations up for you to play the game. And since we let citizens play before anybody else, this will be first chance for anyone to try it.
Quite excited about that. I'm going to have a shot myself.
I can't wait to hear how it's going to go because he also mentioned they're going to be showing the Battlesphere level, and it doesn't play like any FPS you've tried before. So.
I'm a big Doom fan, so. We hit $73 million in crowdfunding. Chris published the letter. Is that the letter you're just talking about?
Yes, although we're no longer doing letters for financial milestones. It just happened to come around the same time. Chris is going to do letters just kind of to inform you, let you know what he's thinking, what's going on with Star Citizen, and it's a good summary of what he's been up to lately if you want to check that out. I will also mention that one of the other things announced in the letter happened this week, which is a Star Citizen community show. One of the things we kind of moved away from as we switched to ATV in format was the fan videos. We didn't have a place for, Ligante and Kin Shadow and all that. We are now doing a monthly segment by Disco Lando, who you guys may remember from the Women's Hangar days. He's putting together sort of a talk soup of Star Citizen fan content. It's available. First episode is available now. Check it out.
Did we get 100 years? Is it 100 years?
Yes, that's in there. 100 years video is in there, which is fantastic. Chris mentioned that in his letter too.
As you may or may not know, we've also been running a poll for the box art for the final 4th box. You have 24 hours to make your vote count. Right now the Bengal carrier is streaking ahead, but if you think of another ship that you would like, then get in there and vote. Who did you vote for?
I would.
Who? I say who. Our ships have personalities.
I voted for the Retaliator. That's my favorite so far. If you have a favorite, rally other backers, get in there, try to beat the Bengal. You have 24 hours.
All right, it's time for news from around the verse. Let's throw it out to the spectrum.
Hi, I'm Darian.
And I'm Travis.
And we are the production team at Cloud Imperium Games in Santa Monica, here with a few updates. The first thing we're starting off with is the rental equipment credits, REC, or otherwise known as REC. Calyx is spearheading development of that, so we've got it hooked up in the game side, and we are now just doing some internal tweaks, making sure everything is functioning as correctly as possible, getting ready for it to launch with 1.1.
Yeah, the other important thing to note on that is that the actual implementation on the game is relatively straightforward, but it's got a lot of work on the server backend and the communication with platform, aka our website, so that those teams have been really killing it to get that done.
And it's in capable, good hands with Calyx at the helm. The other ones we got our big ship coming up called the Hull series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the Hull series is going to be our big, it's a whole line, right? But it's going to be the freighter of the stars. So you have everything from a super tanker size down more to a,
Personal transport almost.
Yeah, a little bit bigger than Aurora, but not like super tanker. So it's kind of the whole A through E, and it's actually shaping up to be a very cool shipping ship. And we're looking forward to sharing more of that with you later on. But it should be a great for cargo. And the other piece of this is the game modes that we've talked about in the past, being Cargo Olympics, and even the cargo system itself. As part of this ship, are getting some more detailed design reviews and iteration. So
that's being done by Calyx too, right?
That's correct. That's like the Calyx news report.
Yeah, it is.
So I guess another important thing is we've been partnering very closely with the UK on the new damage tech, being the new damage shader, as well as the Gladius and the Retaliator. Both of these ships will make use of the new damage system. The Retaliator is going to be hangar ready for 1.1.0. and the Gladius is going to be flight ready, and we'll premiere the new damage system, which we think is super cool, and we really hope you guys enjoy it. So it's been a lot of collaborative work. A host of the original heavy lifting was done in the UK. The tech side implementation has just kind of come along now at the end in the LA office.
And then we have a new buzzword, squibs.
Squibs,
yeah. I've been using that around the office a lot.
That's true. No, the new squibs actually is pretty cool. So it's like basically when you shoot the surface of the ship, they have little embedded areas that can explode based off the radius of the bullet. So it's like modeling as though you had a fuel line actually running through the wing, and you can kind of put a little squib line where the fuel line would be, and when it gets shot, it jets out fuel.
And we can give each one of those particle effects as well.
Mm-hmm. So it should be cool.
So I think that's all we've got from Santa Monica.
Yep, no, that's it. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining us. Look forward to seeing you guys next week.
Hello there, I'm Gordon McLean. I'm a gameplay programmer at Foundry 42 in the UK. I started here about 3 weeks ago, just over 3 weeks ago. I moved to Wimslow from Dundee, way up in Scotland. Like I said, I'm a gameplay programmer, and one of my first tasks has been to look at the doors in the game. So we've got a big, massive design document for the doors, done by one of our designers here called Simon Vickers, and it sort of covers everything you can imagine. Sort of everything from security privileges to lockdown functionality to what happens when there's something in the way of the door. It's sort of everything you can, everything we'll ever need for a door. So sort of the core of the code base is built around this automatic door. Very simple unit. You walk up to it, it checks you've got the right security privileges or whatever, and it opens. If you do, it stays closed. If not, very simple, like you'll find in any supermarket. Sort of above that, we've got a security network entity now that lets you control sort of different player security levels. So you can have sort of the owner of a ship, say, or the captain or whatever, theoretically could have like access to everything. Sort of they'll be able to walk everywhere they want to go on the ship, from the bridge to engineering to everywhere. and then you'll go to your standard crewman who'll be able to go pretty much everywhere, bar maybe like they won't be able to get into the bridge, or they won't be able to go into the engineering bay if they don't have the right access rights. And then sort of right down to the very bottom level where you've got visitors, which will be stuck to the public only path, or hostiles who will not be able to work any doors, basically. Part of the features of the security network, one of the cool things is a lockdown function, like I mentioned earlier. So, for instance, when you've got a hull breach or a fire somewhere in your ship or station, or some security override, for instance, you can hit the lockdown button, or it'll automatically trigger, and all the doors will force themselves closed, locking everyone out. Again, that brings up the point as well, of course. Normally doors won't close on a player, but during the lockdown they will shut no matter what's in the way. So if you're standing in the way, you will get pushed out of the way, and possibly damaged if it gets added into the design. And then of course, when in lockdown, we've also got this very cool manual override unit that's going to be added into the doors. So this is a feature, sort of a emergency open as opposed to an emergency close, where the player will be able to get access to this. I think the current design is for some sort of lever, where they'll sort of grab it and then yank it down to manually power the door ever many times, and then activate it, and the door will open and allow them through. Doors. Sort of very cool design stuff out there already. Cool stuff going in. Lots of neat things planned. I'm still waiting for assets and animation for like the override unit and sort of bits and pieces, but really looking forward to seeing how it all comes together and how it all hooks up. And it should be quite cool. So thank you. Yeah, that's all from me.
Hey guys, it's Phil here from the sound team over at Foundry 42. I just thought I'd check in to give you a heads up about what I've been working on. Recently, I've been working on the audio for the prototype of the Mobiglass, which has been loads and loads of fun, and hopefully you might be able to get your hands on it soon. So just going to talk about the processes of how we go about designing audio for a feature such as that. So we started off looking at going to some research, so looking at all the RSI documentation that's there, seeing how the feature will function in game, like who it's made by and how it's actually physically made, its components. Then I combine that with what we currently have with regards to UI systems, so like looking at phones and tablets and seeing how we can take that and try and futurize it. And obviously looking at pop culture references, all the greats are out there that have great UI systems in film and game and stuff like that. So regards to Mobiglass specifically, what we wanted to do is create like a brand ident, like an identity. So when you open up the Mobiglass, which is made by Microtech, you kind of know it's come from that company. So as soon as you hear the sound, you see it, you know exactly where it's come from. Now the trouble with that is we need to create audio that is appropriate for every kind of situation that you're going to be in. So we don't want something that's overly aggressive when you're just perusing, shopping around, and we don't want something that's overly flowery when you're in the middle of combat. It's like, cover me, explosion, Mobiglass. You got to try and keep it appropriate. So hopefully we're going to try and meet that in the middle, but I'm sure you'll give us some amazing feedback, what you like and what you don't like. So one of the first things we do once we've done all the research is we kind of try and develop like a sound palette. We start bringing into like sounds that we think we can start manipulating that are appropriate and stuff like that. Think about some synthesis we can do. And the big one that we brought in was some glass samples. Now we looked at some water, some birds, some insects, some typical UI sounds that you normally you pull inspiration from. But seeing as glass was actually in the name Mobiglass, we thought it'd be great to try and utilize that as much as we could. So we pulled in samples and tried to manipulate it as much as we can, creating something that had a glassy feel, but it didn't. We didn't want it to sound overly glassy. So what we do is try and create a library which would cover all of the functionality of the Mobiglass. So say, for instance, the home screen opening up, the side windows, you're going back navigating between different menus, your mouse clicker, rolling over things, all sorts. And once we've got a solid set of audio assets together, what I do is I open up to the rest of the audio team and just for their reviews and suggestions, so we can do iteration upon iteration upon iteration till we get to a point where we're all happy with the first pass, and it's a product that we're happy with that supports the amazing visuals of the Mobiglass. But really, I think the main judge on how well we've done is you guys, because we're on the forums every day. We're picking and looking at all these suggestions that are coming in, and we really do take them on board. So hopefully we'll be able to give you the audio that you deserve to create like the most immersive experience that you deserve, really. So if there is anything you don't like or things you do like, please post it on the forums, because we do check it on a daily basis, and it's something we really do take on board. So yeah, that's everything from me. A great thanks from the audio team for checking in, and we'll catch you soon.
Hey guys, I'm Kendrick Gonzalez, creative director at Ilphonic.
And I'm Rodney Houle, the lead designer at Ilphonic.
This week we're marching towards PAX. Got a lot of things coming, and we just wanted to give you a little update. There's been a lot of stuff going on. There's going to be even more upcoming soon, but just touch on some things. A lot of fans have been asking for is controller support. We've definitely been working to make sure the FPS can be played with the controller, but just a little warning, it's not going to be as good as a mouse. I just don't think it's possible, especially with some of the mechanics are being so precision based. But they're all really good players that are going to be able to really utilize the controller to its fullest. So we're looking forward to seeing how people make best use of that. So.
Yep, and also we've been spending a lot of time on getting the sniper rifle into the game. So it's an energy-based weapon. In the future, there'll be a lot of opportunities for attachments. But yeah, so that should be going in. You probably won't see it during PAX, but shortly after PAX, you'll probably see a lot more for that. And just continuing the bug fix for PAX, and ready to show you guys what we've been working on.
Yep. And I guess that's it. We're excited for next week. Give you a little bit more of an update.
Hey guys, I'm Jake Ross, associate producer for the PU here in Austin, and here with me this week I have
Ken Farikloff, concept artist.
And we're here this week to give you a brief update about what we're doing here in Austin. One of the things that we're working on is helping bring the FPS characters up to speed for the FPS release coming up pretty soon. We're helping bring those up in quality a little bit with the help of David Jennison, our lead character artist here in Austin. We are also doing look development and concept work on the character clothing sets, as I've mentioned previously, specifically on the white collar set for the Terra location. And Megan Cheever, in-house concept artist, is working in tandem with Rob McKinnon, the excellent Rob McKinnon, to help bring those clothing sets to life. I'm going to pass it over to Ken, who's going to talk a little bit about the cool mining gameplay concepts that you recently saw on the mining post for when the Orion sale went out. Chris Olivia helped with that a little bit. He did a cool mining kind of third-person POV shot. But I will let Ken talk a little bit about what he contributed. Go ahead, Ken.
Yeah, so I worked closely with Tony, coming up with some early concepts for what the UI / HUD could look like for the players. So obviously that's subject to change. But what we wanted to really communicate is that the idea that there's definitely an idea of skill surrounded by this. So there was the challenge of finding a way to make these technical readouts read pretty easily from a glance, because you need to be able to understand them and know what exactly they're telling you quickly, because you're going to want to be as focused on what's actually happening in front of you as much as possible. But at the same time, in a way that you also need to be able to balance all these readouts, because like Tony had mentioned on the write-up for all the gameplay and stuff like that, is that there is definitely a very large importance placed on challenge and skill. It's not something that you can just kind of click a button and then boom, you've mined a bunch of materials. So that was one of the main challenges with coming up with those kind of UI concepts.
Awesome. Thanks, Ken. Appreciate it. That's it from here in Austin. We'll see you guys next time. See you later. Bye.
Thank you guys. Doing some impressive work around the world.
Always busy, and we hope we've improved the sound for you just a little bit this week and improving it again next week. And now it's over to Mark for the return of Bugsmashers.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Bugsmashers. I just got back from the Academy Awards. Had a great time, but this year I just did not win it. Hopefully I'll get it next year, because I know as the best programmer, I'm gonna win. Bugsmashers! Hey everyone, we are in a fancy dancy test map, and I'm gonna hop right in and show you today's bug. So here we have the Avenger, and this is its little backdoor cargo. When you use the use key on it, it'll open up. So what we want to do is, once you sit down, have this automatically fold up. So in the XML, we said, hey, when you sit down, we're gonna run this animation to close the door. Cool beans. Let's see what happens. Go sit down in the seat and then get out of the seat real quick. Speed up the time, 100 seconds. Then we'll exit, 100 seconds. So I just basically fast forwarded myself, and let's go to the back of the ship. So as you can see, the animation played and it actually closed the cargo. Cool, except for one flaw. When I try to open it up, as you can see, it shows the use key. So when I hit it, nothing happens, and now the use key goes away, leaving the door forever and ever closed. No. So what's happening? Little thingamajigger here, the cargo door. It has an animation state, and if we go up to here, the switch has a button state. Now the button state and animation state are two separate things. Now the button state will handle animation states, but this still thinks that the button is open. So when you sit down, we're changing the animation state to close, but the button still thinks that we're open. So when you hit it, it's trying to play the close animation, but the close animation is done. So the button gets confused. If we hop right into the button code, we can see right here, it will actually, when you hit the button, it will trigger the animation to go, hey, go to this close state, because it thinks we're open. So it will actually wait until the animation is done, and then it will continue on and update its state. However, what happens is this gets triggered. It'll trigger this function again. It'll go in here and say that the wait for animation has aborted, and basically prevents you from ever hitting the button again, because it's thinking it's trying to close the door even though it has finished closing the door. So the fix is actually a real quick thing to say, hey, we are in a wait for animation. So after, or if this animation is done or triggered or has finished already because we folded it up, it won't allow us to open the door back up again. So I'm gonna put that bad boy right up on the top, build all the things. All right, we're gonna plop back down in our level, open up the cargo bay door, whee, goes down, and then back to fast forwarding, because all we want is the door to close after we sit down. All right. Oop. So let's leave that little intermediate area. So now, cargo bay is closed. So if I hit my use key, it should open up. Woo! Yay, it opens. So I can leave. So if I close it again, hoorah! So now, in the Fun Avenger, when you sit down, the cargo bay will close, and you could reopen it and leave the ship. Yay! Now, unfortunately, there is still a bug, because while it does update the animation state, the button state is still set to open, so you have to hit the use twice. This will actually get solved when we switch over all this logic from our XMLs into our Ghost system. But in the meantime, you just have to press the use key twice. We have a known JIRA ticket for it, so we know it's a bug, but at least now you could actually open up the cargo bay door. So there you have it. Cargo. Whee! As you can see, we had a little problem with the Avenger door. Didn't want to close, but we took care of that. And I just wanted to say, hey, fans out there, just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. You know, I didn't win this time for getting the Oscar, but there's always next year. I want to thank Calyx for being an awesome, being there whenever we needed XML set up. I want to thank John Pritchett for being there. By the way, he's here, which is awesome. For, setting up all those physical things. Anytime you need physics happening, like a carrot getting thrown across the room, he's there to make sure it works. I want to thank Forrest in the back for setting up all the awesome VFX. So when stuff explodes, you have pretty particles. I want to thank the cameraman behind you. You can't see him, but there's actually 3 of them. One's holding a boomstick, one's holding I don't know what that is, some kind of device. But thank you. I want to thank that guy talking in the background. Don't know who he is, but he's giving so much support. I want to thank myself for being awesome, because, I'm awesome. I want to thank Aaron Roberts for being Chris's brother, because without him, we wouldn't have 2 Chris's.
Thanks, Mark.
Let's see what Will's up to for this week's MVP.
Hey everybody, I'm Assistant Community Manager Will, here to bring you this week's MVP. This week's MVP goes to Year 100, who you may know created the original Imagine trailer. He's back with the collaboration of other Star Citizen members with a new trailer called The Fighter Pilot. Check it out.
My name is Bry Rowan, and I'm a naval fighter pilot for the United Earth Empire. When I was a child, I looked up to the skies and wished I could touch the stars themselves. Since then, the UEE has funded my training, my education, and the career of my dreams. I've seen amazing sights, been to incredible places, developed life skills, become a leader, all while defending the empire I love. I get to come home to the arms of my wife and the smiles of my children, knowing that I am protecting their happiness and freedom. I couldn't ask for anything more fulfilling than that. My name is Bry Rowan, and I'm a fighter pilot.
We'd like to highlight another organization this week. Valinor Aerospace has been around for quite a while, and they're dedicated to Carl Sagan. Following in his footsteps, they focus on exploring and engineering. They also have a strong roleplay mentality and require that their members are 18 years or older. So if you're looking for a new organization, be sure to check them out. And before we go, I'd like to throw out a personal shout out to Disco Lando for his new show, Wonderful World of Star Citizen. In it, he comes up with no new ideas and basically steals all the fan spotlights that we've done beforehand. So thank you very much, Disco, and to everybody else, you're this week's MVP.
Thanks, Will. One of the most important things the team here and around the world is working on is balancing the Arena Commander experience. I think you'll see in the forums it's a constant battle between the mouse is too powerful, the joystick is too powerful, the Hornet is too powerful, and so on. So we are starting a new segment where we talk to some of the devs who are working on that balance to hear about some of the challenges they face. Let's go over to it now.
Hi guys, I'm Matt Sherman. I'm one of the technical designers here at CIG Los Angeles, and I'm here to talk to you today about some of our 103 weapons changes for some of the ballistic weapons. The two biggest changes that went through were an update to the Sledge 2 mass driver as well as the Tiger Streak cannon on the Avenger. And so what we did to the Sledge is we decided to give it its own different ammo type. It now uses a 60mm rail shot. And what that means is it's going to be a faster moving projectile, it's going to do more damage on each shot, and hopefully give the Sledge 2 a bit more punch that it sort of felt it was lacking, while not inflating the ammo box on the gun anymore. The other big change that we did was to the Tiger Streak, and that was to really get the Avenger feeling more in line with what it should be. We've changed up the ammo type on it to a 25mm round, which is giving it a bit higher base damage. And then we've also changed up the ammo box on it, so now it's got 1,600 rounds total when you've loaded up into the game. One of the biggest things that motivated us for this was, especially on the 325A, when the Sledge 2, being its main nose gun, feels weak and underpowered, or too hard to use, it kept people from wanting to actually fly the 325 or really get to know the 300 series. And very similar to the Avenger, where the Tiger Streak used to be a bit too weak for its own good, and when that's the signature gun on the Avenger, it really makes it not feel like it's living up to expectations. And so we wanted to just bring things more in line with what the guns should be to make sure the ships feel right. As we move into 1.1, we're still continuing on with a lot more balance changes for all of our weapons, including the ballistic weapons. So we've got a lot of great updates set for you, and we're going to do another balance update once 1.1's out to give you more information on those changes. Again, I'm Matt Sherman, technical designer here at CIG Los Angeles, and thanks for watching.
Now, last week I had a chance to sit down with the team that came up with the Orion, balance the stats, set out all the reference to the art team and so on. We talked about the process. Let's check that piece out.
Hey everybody, welcome to Where the Magic Happens, the lone conference room at CIG Santa Monica. I am joined here with the team that designs your spaceships. Let's go around and introduce everybody.
So I'm Dan Tracy, lead technical designer here at Cloud Imperium Games.
Lance Powell, art director.
And Travis Day, producer.
Now we typically get together for a kickoff meeting.
Not unlike this configuration.
Yeah. Pretty much the same group of people. Tell us about how that works.
Well, yeah, I think the first step, right, is that you identify a design need in the game, right? So a role that you want, a role that needs filling from a ship. And so from there, we kind of backtrack and then sit down in this room with these people and discuss what that ship might look like, what behaviors that ship will have, what the design for the mechanics behind that ship are, how many people we want to fulfill that role. And that's kind of really more, I guess, on the design side is where that starts.
Usually when we start looking at sectioning off what a new ship design is going to be about, we look at what's currently in the game already and how we're going to be looking at other ships that need to fulfill a particular vacuum for any of the future mechanics that we're also going to be doing, such as mining. So with the Orion, the biggest thing that we wanted to tackle was how does mining kind of work across the game, and what is that end goal going to look like? Mm-hmm. So we looked at PU's particular setup of what they needed to accomplish for their particular cargo management and how they're going to be taking on bigger asteroids that are at jump points that are long ranges away. And we needed to come up with a larger ship in order to fulfill that role. So we wanted to actually tackle how are we going to take on large asteroids. So we're thinking, okay, we want to do something that's already relevant within our kind of mechanics that we already have, which is shooting and blowing apart these larger asteroids. So we said, hey, we need a ship that can actually handle this particular large beam and then be able to gather up all the smaller bits and then also refine them. And then this is also where like art comes in to help us kind of visualize how all this is going to actually work together on how we're actually going to be pulling in these asteroids and how does this actually concept out.
RSI, Orion needed to fulfill several different needs. It needed to fulfill a mining need. It needed to fulfill some interior component where once you've brought stuff into the ship, that there's a station where those components are broken down and processed. We want there to be enough of a level feel to the ship so that the player characters can wander around and see parts of the components as the asteroid is broken down and shoveled through the process. So the form follows function. Design comes up with a set of requirements, and we build around that, and then stamp in the various visual language that we want to get across for mining.
And the visual designs that, like we've talked about, numerous conversations that we've had, is what is the interior going to look like with this thing? Is this going to have like graded sections of it, so you can just see this like big slurry that's going through it, and then what are people? How are you going to actually walk around it so you can see all of the ore being refined and processed through that? And you have some great reference pictures that we're actually churning through, and to really wrap our minds around how this interior is going to look, and then how does this thing actually progress through the length of the ship and then be deposited into the kind of sections off for where the cargo is going to be, and those were fantastic. Right. So that was exactly why, and this is basically where you came in, was how does this interior work? And we were like, oh shoot, we didn't think of that. But that was a really good catch, because that helped us visualize the whole procedure of like, here comes the Orion, comes up, breaks apart an asteroid, and then you have the individual tractor beams going and churning out these smaller sections to cutting them down to the more smaller pieces, that it's like, hey, this is a smaller section of gold, now I can actually pull it into the front part of the ship and then churn through that whole thing. And then from there, we weren't too concerned about it, but as soon as you were mentioning that, it was like, oh yeah, we got to deposit these into the cargo hold. Right. So that was fantastic.
The approach that we've been taking so far with the exterior is, what's the visual motif, how does it fit the design requirements, and then we started looking at the interior of the ship and what happens on the inside of the ship. And if the ship is a level, the player needs something to see, something to be engaged with. So we actually started doing a lot of digs on, which is a fancy way of saying reference, what do we want, of the visuals. And the things that came out of it were, caterpillar earth movers, like something really just over the top giant. We wanted it to feel like a refinery on the inside. So, to translate a lot of that heat and being able to see this kind of dirty mechanical stuff. But also the player needs the ability to kind of watch that entire process all the way through. So if you think about a car wash,
yeah, exactly.
You're able to kind of like watch and walk along as your car goes through the,
That's like my favorite thing to do at a car wash.
Right, or sit inside.
Yeah.
If we could find a way to.
And even everything like on a conveyor belt, where it's just like going to one particular area and then getting refined and then maybe washed down, and then this transformed and compacted so that it can actually be like maybe cubified and put into the square cargo holds for every one of these particular sections. So that's exactly right.
Right. A bunch of little Wallies there.
So you heard it here first. Star Citizen, all the fun of a car wash. Well, thank you guys. Let's tease everybody. What's the next ship we're going to sit down and have a meeting like this about?
The whole series.
Yeah.
Wait.
No, we already did the whole series.
We got the Starliner.
We got the Starliner.
We did the Starliner.
The Starliner. We have the Aspera Prowler.
We have the Endeavor.
The Endeavor. We have the Crucible, which is
we have the Reliant.
We have the Reliant, which is actually happening.
That's the one. That's the meeting we're missing right now.
It's happening in half an hour. Yeah.
Well, there you go. So we got tons to choose from.
Yes.
So check out the new mining ship at the site. Learn about how mining works, and if you're interested, pledge for one in Star Citizen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Big shout out to Turbulent for the mining minigame. Well done.
Thank you very much, Ben.
You're welcome. Anything I can do?
It's very deep voiced. Art sneak peek. Check it out.
you just saw there were the first concept art we've gotten from Foundry 42 of the modular cutlass. I think somebody leaked a couple of those in her Facebook earlier in the week.
Yeah, did I?
But that's some of the work we're doing for making the interiors of the cutlass modular. And speaking of the cutlass, it is available as a fly-free ship this week. If you'd like to try out the Cutlass Black, starting tomorrow, you may do so.
It says the Cutlass Blue.
Well, we're also going to be offering the Cutlass Blue limited ship again for the weekend for anyone who's interested in picking that up. The Cutlass Blue and the Cutlass Red are not in the actual Arena Commander yet, but if you pick up one, you'll be able to fly a black.
And the Tarantula gun will finally be available for purchase.
People have been asking about this one since it premiered in the PTU about 2 weeks ago, so we are adding it to the store roster, and it should go nicely with the Cutlass, which can handle this gun.
The team is hunkering down for the push to Arena Commander 1.1, so please send them some happy thoughts.
Yes, it's going to be a busy couple of weeks here at our studios around the world, kind of putting it all together for the 1.1 release, which is on the horizon. We can't say when just yet, but it's our next big Arena Commander release, and there's a push to get it done. So got some tired programmers and QA folks right now.
Thanks everybody for watching, and to subscribers for making this show possible. We will see you next week on
Around the Verse.
Coming up on the Empire Report, should ships go faster? Find out why speed demons are risking their lives to push the limits and set the new all-time record.
Could your flight suit be killing you? A new study shows a startling connection between pressurized clothing and ghost limb syndrome.
The Imperator's new hairstyle, ahead of its time or a cut too far? Style expert Nisko Hobbins weighs in.
All that and more on the next Empire Report at 2200 SET.
What is it?